Leagues around the world have finished, contracts are expiring, free agents are available for Derby County to go and pick from in this January window. The MLS is full of free agents who Derby County could go and sign, and this is one who I believe Derby County absolutely need to add depth into their midfield area, a player of real quality who could come and join Paul Warne's midfield and have an instant impact, not needing to get fit but needing to be available and playing football matches. Shall we take a look into this midfielder who Derby County should sign? Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content. Now, Leon Flach is a 23-year-old midfielder born on the 28th of February 2001, currently playing for Philadelphia Union. Well, I say currently, his contract has now expired. It expired on December 31st, and that is why Derby County could go and pick this player up for a really decent free transfer to really rejuvenate the midfield, add in some extra options, and it gives Derby County some more bite in midfield. It gives them another player who can have an impact similar to an Ebo Adams, a Liam Thompson, a Ben Osborne, really with that work ethic, really trying to make things happen for his team. And coming from Philadelphia Union, he'll come into Derby fully fit. Now, across the course of his career, he's played for FC St. Pauli as well as Philadelphia. He's made 145 appearances for Philadelphia Union, scoring 3 and assisting 7. Across the course of his career at St. Paul, he played over 70 games, scoring 10 goals with 4 assists across the course of the youth age groups and the senior team. Now, he's obviously spent a lot of time in the MLS, and Derby County have seen their own players go over to the MLS. The likes of Johnny Russell, the likes of Nathan Byrne, and the likes of Kamil Jóźwiak are all currently over there. I believe Johnny Russell may have just left. But there's a lot that can be said for the MLS. It's definitely not the league it was 5-10 years ago, where it was a terrible league and the players weren't of real quality. We've seen the likes of Manchester City poaching talent from the academies over there in America. And is it time now for Derby County to pick up a player who can have an instant impact in their team? And Leon Flach is one of the players who I believe could do that. Now, he's not your goal scoring midfielder. He's not necessarily your creative midfielder, but he certainly would offer an extra option in that midfield area to really push on and develop those defensive stabilities that Derby County need to have. Now, we've conceded a lot of goals this season, and a lot of them are through defensive errors, and that's what Derby County need to stop. And in my opinion, that's what Leon Flach could add to Derby County should he join. Now, if we look across the competitions he's played in, obviously most of them are in the MLS, but he's obviously made appearances in the second Bundesliga as well as in the DFB Pokal and leagues and competitions like that. He's played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, where he's made 10 appearances, assisting 1 goal, and is one of those players for me who I believe could have an instant impact for Derby County. I've spoke a few times across the course of this year about our lack of rotation ability in midfield, because we don't have a lot of players with similarities. You look at Ben Osborne and Liam Thompson, 2 players who get injured quite frequently and are the most similar to each other. We don't have another player like that. You've then got David Ozo and Ebo Adams. Now, Ebo Adams, currently probably one of our fittest players across the course of this club, and is most likely to be available every game, but he's got a yellow card in him. That equals suspensions. His replacement, or a player to play with him, is David Ozo. David Ozo hasn't been fit since around September time, which is disappointing because he's a really, really good player. And there's a lot more that Derby County could do if they had David Ozo available, because it gives more options for midfield rotations. You don't necessarily have to play a Ben Osborne or a Liam Thompson. And then you've got, obviously, Kenzo Holdmine and Tawanda Chiwa. Chiwa, another player, injury issues, and that's where I think Leon Flach could come in. It's shown across the course of his career that he can play games, 145 since joining Philadelphia Union across the course of the MLS playoffs and the cups and things like that, and I believe he could have a real impact on Derby County's midfield, and we can see it here on the depth chart and his positional graph. He can play in those central midfield areas. He can play in the wing-back positions and either full-back, and if we just talk about how many games he's played in those positions, it's 111 in central midfield, 8 goals, 9 assists, 50 appearances in that holding midfield slot, 4 goals, 1 assist. He's played 14 appearances at left wing back and left back, as well as playing 3 times in the number 10 position, as well as twice on that right hand side. And I think he offers the versatility that Derby County need. I'm not necessarily saying that Derby County should bring him in and play him at left wing back, but having a midfielder similar to that of Liam Thompson and Ben Osborne, who can push out to those wing back positions on either side, as well as playing in those full back areas, is a really, really good skill and trait to have. And Leon Flach has that in abundance. And he's a player who, in my opinion, fits easily into this depth chart as probably one of the better midfielders at the club, and he's someone who I believe Derby County must chase after as quickly as they can, because there's a lot that Derby County need to do, and to get that done correctly they have to bring in quality players. Now, is he better than David Ozo? Not entirely sure. Is he better than a Liam Thompson? I personally believe so. I think Liam Thompson, coming through the academy, has had some excellent performances, but in my opinion, he's getting towards that time in his career where he really needs to take a step forward, and he currently hasn't done that for me. He's had some really good appearances this season in the Championship, but he's not been able to nail down a starting position, whether that be because of injuries or Paul Warne not selecting him. But if he's not being selected, there must be a reason, and that's a discussion that we need to have for the likes of Liam Thompson, the likes of Corey Blackett-Taylor, the likes of Joe Ward. And obviously, over the course of recent weeks, we've seen Jake Rooney come back into the forefront of the first team, a player who I believe may end up leaving on loan in this January window. But bringing in a player like Flach certainly opens up the door for those midfield options to either remove some of them or even remove someone else across the squad. Now, what would this deal be? Obviously, as mentioned, free transfer. It would have to be a free transfer for Derby County, and it would certainly add to those midfield options. He's a player who I believe could have massive ability and could certainly take Derby to the next level in that midfield area. And he's a player who I think Paul Warne will be needing and watching and asking for when he's talking to the board, because he's a free transfer, and why would he not want to come and play in England, one league away from the Premier League? And if Derby County can put in some good performances, it could be a really sharp season for the likes of Leon Flach as he comes towards the back end of this year. Obviously, he's finished his time at Philadelphia Union. There will be MLS clubs chasing after him, so it's important that Derby County, if they are going to get him, put their foot down quite quickly, or another European club may just snatch him up. And for me, I think he'd have an excellent option in Derby County's midfield. Now, obviously, for Derby County, the big discussion is around budgets. Do we have the budget to bring in a free transfer? If we don't, there's some big problems at Derby County and some big problems at boardroom level. And we was told about bringing in more people to the board, and I don't necessarily think we've heard a great deal about it. Yes, we've brought in the likes of Mo Babbitt, who... are they having an impact? Maybe. We don't really know. And they could be having an impact, but we don't know, as I said. They've obviously brought in the Shadow Supporters Board, which I personally think is meaningless. They can't do anything. They don't have any decision-making capacity. And realistically, all they get to do is just essentially, oh, we're on the Supporters Board. We can see this, we can see that. But they can't realistically talk about anything. They can't realistically do anything. So heading into this window, we need to make sure Derby County have some budget available. A free transfer in the midfield, in my opinion, would be a great signing for Derby County. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video.